It is too late. We are live. Welcome to another episode of the MetaComix Podcast, where a couple of nut jobs try to talk about comics and screw up technical things and everything else. Before we jump into the meat of everything here, as you know, I am your host, Mike, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Alec. Say hi to the boys and girls.
Hey, boys and girls. How you guys doing today?
And my other co-host, Josh.
Hi, everybody else.
That's all Josh has to say.
Yeah.
So we have some really big stuff going on with the channel. A lot of good content coming up. I just posted up today a video called Digging Deeper, and it's all about Doctor Doom and his role in Secret Wars. And so if you get a chance, check that out. We got some other good video series coming on, and also some new fresh blood and faces. Next week we're going to be joined by Nick Goldman from Goldman Vision on YouTube, and our other partner, Isabel, whose last name is escaping me right now, and I feel like an awful human being.
The Harrow.
Yeah, thank you. So look forward to that. Now, to get started into the thick of the stuff here, we are going to do a little superhero Mad Libs. Yeah. This is going to stretch the old creative muscles a little bit here and kind of give you guys something entertaining that you can watch and maybe make fun of us for in the comments. It's all good. All right, so I'm going to kick this thing off, and each person is going to have 30 seconds to add to the next part of the story. So I'm going to start a story involving superheroes, some kind of scenario, and then Alec is going to take it, and then Josh is going to take it, and we're just going to keep going in a circle for 5 minutes. And then we are going to try 2 different scenarios and see what kind of shenanigans we can come up with.
It's gonna be shenanigans, I'll tell you that.
It is going to be shenanigans. Total shenanigans. All right. So the first scenario, first story that I'm going to kick things off with is the Hulk and Captain America walk into a honky-tonk bar, and they see Crossbones tipping back some whiskey. And they say, "Your go, Alec."
Can we have some of your drink? I don't know. I think Crossbones says, "No, Captain America, I hate you." And then Hulk is like, "There's no need for that anger here." And then Crossbones says, "Well, what are you doing here? Because you're always angry. Are you not?" And then the Hulk is like, "Yeah, but this is different. See, you like me when I'm angry, but you're not going to like me when I'm not angry. So don't make me happy." And then Crossbones tickles the Hulk. Josh?
And just then, Superman crashes through the roof and takes out Crossbones and takes him into space. And from there, he puts Crossbones on that part of the moon that for some reason you can breathe on. Whatever it is, I forgot what it's called. Takes him and just leaves him there and flies away. Crossbones is there yelling, "What the hell just happened?"
Time. Okay, now it's my turn here. Okay, so back on Earth, the Hulk and Captain America decide that they're kind of lonely, so they get out on the dance floor. But every time that the Hulk starts to get his groove on, the whole floor starts shaking and all the chicks fall down and beers are spilling all over the place and people are starting to get a little angry. Cap tries to tell him to calm down, but you know how that goes with the Hulk, and he decides to slap Captain America across the dance floor. Your turn, Alec.
Back on the moon, Crossbones is greeted by the Winter Soldier Space Marine, who says, "Hey, what the hell are you doing here? This is my turf." And then Crossbones is like, "You know what? I kind of like the moon. I think I'm going to take it over." And Crossbones pulls out an AK-47 and proceeds to shoot Bucky Barnes. But Bucky skillfully dodges it, and then he calls on a transmitter for the Guardians of the Galaxy to appear.
Time. Your go, Josh.
And then back on Earth, Superman comes back down and tackles Hulk and tells Hulk, that he challenges him to a dance-off. But they go out into the desert, away from the bar, because the bar is in the desert. And everybody comes out and watches.
Time.
They have to use. Aw.
So, Captain America decides to bust out some old school John Travolta staying alive stuff. And he even has quickly changes his costume so that he looks kind of like that polyester Captain America suit. You know what I'm saying? Starts doing the hand thing and starts getting down, people clapping. And then Hulk, of course, gets angry and he decides to smash Captain America to a bloody pulp. Then takes what's left over and tosses it onto the crowd, making everyone bloodstained. And it's your turn, Alec.
That's your favorite character, right? That's your favorite superhero?
I'm not above killing my favorite superhero, man.
All right, so I'm going to debate this. Okay, going back onto the moon. The signals got crossed, and so the Guardians of the Galaxy aren't going to come. But Thanos is. So Thanos appears, and he asks Crossbones, what the hell is he doing on the moon? And then Thanos is like, Superman brought me here. And Thanos is like, wait, Superman brought you here? I can't have Superman showing me up. So Thanos goes to Earth to challenge Superman to a dance-off.
Your turn, Josh.
As soon as Thanos steps out of his ship and into the desert, both Superman and Hulk team up and punch Thanos into space without his ship, and then they just continue to dismantle and cause his ship to blow up.
All right, meanwhile, back on Earth, the Hulk is taking random members of the crowd and just squishing them under his feet because it feels good. Kind of like a Dr. Soul's Insole or Dr. Soul's Insole, whatever those things are called.
Oh my
when
God.
all of a sudden, Dr. Doom shows up and says, what the heck are you doing? Don't you know that I'm the god of this world here? And Hulk says, Hulk is the strongest there is. And so he grabs tinfoil hat guy and turns him to a big ball and throws him into space right towards the moon where our other heroes are battling it out.
My turn?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Thanos pulls out his Infinity Gauntlet, right? And he bends space and time so that Superman was never born on Krypton, and instead he's just lonely Clark Kent. And so Clark Kent has very horrible dance skills, and Thanos appears to stomp the yard on him. Meanwhile, our who is it? Winter Soldier gets hit in the head by a ball of tinfoil. After unwrapping it, he discovers that it's Dr. Doom. Thanos.
Time.
Dang it!
That's the end of the first round.
What the hell was that?
That was hilarity.
I'm trying to just reflect on what the hell just happened. Okay, so Superman and Hulk walk into a bar.
In the desert. A bar in the desert.
Yeah.
On the soil of Dr. Doom. And they ask Crossbones for a drink, and Crossbones says no. So Superman jumps in and steals Crossbones to the moon. For some reason.
It's awesome.
What the hell?
And then there was dance battles, people, lots of
Dr.
blood.
Scholl's feet.
Yeah, all kinds of gore.
God, you're disgusting, Mike. You're disgusting.
I know. It was awesome. It was awesome.
We're just having a friendly dance battle, and then you have to come in with your pulp.
Dude,
What?
like I said, if I had to write any character in the world, it would be the Punisher. As much as I love anybody else, like Captain America and all those guys, I'm built for the blood and gore.
I really don't like the Punisher at all. I have no interest in him. I'm just kind of like, yeah, that guy's there. Yeah,
I love him. Love him. So, it is going to be Alec's turn to kick us off.
Oh crap. Okay, we're switching this to the DC world because why the hell not? Tell me when I have to start. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just gonna say random words, put them together.
Start now.
Okay, so Batman walks into Metropolis, right, and he sees Peter Parker sitting there, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing here, Peter Parker? I know exactly who you are. You're Spider-Man." And Peter's like, "Well, I'm waiting because I'm gonna get interviewed to be part of the Justice League because the Avengers don't want me." And so Batman sits there and he's like, huh, I could test you right here, right now. Let's
Time.
do this.
Josh, you're up.
Spider-Man's like, yeah, let's do it. So Batman throws a batarang and hits Spider-Man in the forehead, and he's like, you're out. And Spider-Man's just like, oh man, another team doesn't want me. I guess I'll go try the Justice Society. And just then, Quicksilver comes in, and Batman sticks his arm out and knocks him over. Because Batman's just that good. And Quicksilver's just like, what the?
Time. So as Quicksilver shows up, the Scarlet Witch along with Magneto shows up, and Magneto seems to be wearing some type of codpiece, upon which Spider-Man says, is that a banana in your shorts, or are you just happy to see me?
What?
I don't know. The Magneto responds, I don't really know what that means, but I'm here to take you back to the 616 universe that's been kind of like exploded, and we're going to try to put it back together. So we need your help. My time's up. It's your turn, Alec.
Okay, just then, bam, Superman appears, and he's like, what the hell's going on? No, I wanted to test Spider-Man. Why? Because I want him in my universe, because you guys don't want him in your films. And so, just then, the Flash runs through and punches Quicksilver while he's down. Quicksilver and the Flash race off to have a race fight somewhere. And then John Constantine shows up and curses out the Scarlet Witch. But then the Scarlet Witch, strangely enough, finds him attractive. And so Superman and Magneto begin to dish it out in the middle of Metropolis, Man of Steel style. And Magneto tries to crumple Superman.
Time.
But he's like, oh.
Josh, you're up.
And just then, Deadpool comes in and kills everybody there. And so then, by the time Flash and Quicksilver come back, they're all torn up, and they're just like, why is everybody dead? How is Superman dead? And then you just see Deadpool there eating a eating a chimichanga, just laughing, be like, hey guys! And he has got some bloodstains all over him.
Time.
I was like, how much time do I have?
So Quicksilver and, was it the Flash?
Yeah.
Quicksilver and the Flash look on horrified at the carnage that Deadpool caused, when all of a sudden Deadpool pulls out a couple of knives and decides to play pin the tail on the Quicksilver. And so he uses him as a kind of like a pin cushion, kills him, and takes the body back to Tony Stark. And Tony Stark decides that, hey, we should put him in the Tahiti program. And so they do, but this time they wipe his mind and make him think he is... my time's up.
Makes him think that he is Colonel Nick Fury. And so, just then, Thanos comes in with his plot device, Infinity Gauntlet, and brings back to life Batman. And he's like, listen, Batman, there's a crazed Quicksilver out there who thinks that he's Nick Fury, and you're the only person that could stop him. So Batman goes back to his Batcaves, gets Batwoman, and jumps in a portal to the 616 universe, where he's going to face Deadpool and Nick. Oh.
Your turn, Josh.
Just then, Quick Fury, that's his new name now. Quick Fury presses a little button, and you just see a little screen comes up and say Avengers Assembled. And then all of a sudden you have all of the 616 heroes busting in, like just coming in, and they're ready to take on Batman and Thanos. Every single 616 hero you can think of, every single one of them, all there, and they're all just, let's take on Batman.
Okay.
They don't even care about Thanos.
And then, as the battle starts to ensue, Thanos starts to turn around and unleash his most secret, devastating weapon of all time, his gas. So he rips a giant fart right there in the middle and starts to pollute the earth, and all the 616 heroes are choking. Even Batman's kind of getting a little teary-eyed, kind of getting a couple stray things going down there. And Batman decides to throw a batarang at his backside and plugs it up so that no more gas could come out. And that's my time.
Okay, So then Thanos, seeing that he's losing, pulls out his Infinity Gauntlet and uses the Reality Gem to mix two of the strongest, most devastating heroes of our time. Kamala Khan, Supergirl, and Squirrel Girl.
I knew it was coming.
And so he unleashes this Super Squirrel on all of the 616 heroes and sees them get decimated one at a time. First Richard Reeds, then Sue Storm, then Frank Castle.
Time. That is the end of round 2.
And
that was even weirder. That was even weirder than the first one.
I think I like that one better.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to do one last round. So, Josh, it's going to be up to you to kick it off, and then I'll take it second, and then Alec gets to put his voice in third. Yeah. So I will let you know you're about to start right now.
Alright, so you have The Flash and Captain America. No, you have Barry Allen, Steve Rogers sitting down, having a coffee at Jitters, just chilling. And then you have Catwoman and Iris West walk in, and they're both like, hey, they look good. Next thing you know, a bomb goes off in Metropolis, a giant nuke, and then everything just goes crazy. You hear everybody calling, everybody just like, and they're just like, what happened?
Time. Okay, so the nuke goes off, and there's carnage everywhere. So Barry Allen and Steve Rogers change their costumes, become Flash and Captain America, and they send out the distress call for the Justice League and the Avengers, and everybody's running downtown. Flash is running just as fast as he can, but he's not paying attention where he's going. He hits a lamppost and causes like all the buildings in the vicinity, all the windows to smash out. They break, glass shatters everywhere. Captain America falls over the debris, ends up cutting his hand, and Catwoman catches a piece of glass right to the neck, and there goes her character. Okay, somebody else's turn. Alec.
Okay, so Steve Rogers eventually gets to Metropolis, as he's the only one alive at this point, and finds out he waits there patiently for the Avengers and the Justice League to show up. But to his surprise, when he gets there, the nuke wasn't a nuke, but it was actually the Avengers and the Justice League clashing, fighting against each other for one purpose. The purpose being...
And time.
Okay, good. I had nothing after that point.
The purpose being, Hank Pym told Tony Stark that he was smarter than him. And Tony Stark was just like, hell no one's smarter than me. I built Iron Man, and I built Iron Man in a cave. What did you do? You can talk to ants. Oh, you're so cool. So then they started fighting, and then they just got their whole team, their whole universe is in on it. Just everybody's fighting everybody just because Tony Stark has a giant ego.
And time. Okay, so as everybody's throwing down, Tony Stark and Hank Pym start doing a tic-tac-toe game, the ultimate strategy game, to try to see who's smarter. And every time they tie, causing them to get really, really frustrated. So Tony decides to go and ask Bruce for some help, Bruce Banner, that is. And when Bruce tries to come in and help play tic-tac-toe, he gets really pissed, and you know what happens when he gets pissed. So then we have the raging, rampaging Hulk inside Avengers Tower, destroying everything, going nuts. He grabs Hank Pym and rips him in half, and go on to Alec.
Okay, so Hank Pym gets ripped in half, and just then a swarm of ants appear from the gutters to take his body away. Just then, you see the Wasp appear, and because she's really pissed, she shrinks down to the size of a wasp and goes into the Hulk's brain. She stabs him in the frontal lobe cortex and then proceeds to zap him. She's now controlling the Hulk. Her one goal: to stop this feuding between the Avengers and the Avengers and the Justice League. Is it my time yet?
Time.
Okay.
Josh, you're up.
I just realized something because I said Hank Pym, and I realized that Hank Pym is part of Marvel.
It's all good, man.
I was totally thinking the Atom, but I said Ant-Man. Anyway,
it works.
Just keep it going.
And just then, Superman comes and I don't know. Martian Manhunter comes and takes over the Hulk's body.
How is everyone taking over the Hulk's body?
He kicks out the Wasp and takes over the Hulk's body.
Okay.
And he just starts rampaging on the Avengers because he's, So, next thing you know, he's up against Hawkeye, who has flaming arrows.
Oh. Mike, because you don't know, Martian Manhunter's one true weakness is fire.
Ah. It was time, so you stopped at just the right place.
All right.
Okay, so Hawkeye, right? That's who you said that was?
Yep.
Yes.
So Hawkeye shoots the flaming arrows at Hulk, who's really the Martian Manhunter. He gets him right in the heart, and Hulk falls down and says something witty that I can't think of. And then we go over to Hawkeye catching Green Arrow out of the corner of his eye, doing his thing and saying, who's this guy think he is? I'm the best archer around. So he goes and he shoots a flaming arrow at Ollie's back, and he starts setting on fire, and then he's rolling all over the ground, and somebody else figure out what to do with that.
Okay, just then, Speedy Mia Dearden pops in and hits him with a water arrow, extinguishing the flame. And also right then, there comes the girl Hawkeye, Cassidy, something, whatever her name is.
That's
the girl Hawkeye, and they start firing arrows at each other. They just keep on getting deflected and deflected. But then, Red Arrow and Arsenal both appear. They're two different characters. Don't ask me how. It just is. And so they appear, and they're like, our world has more archers, therefore we are better.
And that's time, and that's the whole end of the last round of Superhero Mad Libs.
And
First
so, Justice League wins.
That's debatable.
That was interesting.
I think they just keep on getting
I was totally thinking of Atom, and I was like, then I said Ant-Man, and
yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, why would this start a fight with Justice League?
yeah,
I was like, all right, just let it happen.
You know,
Why not? Nothing else.
it's a reasonable mistake. Ant-Man and Atom.
Yeah, for real.
Why is Captain America always in this? I feel like he starts this somehow. He starts out of mayhem. He's the one factor that's in every story.
Captain America is like the linchpin character for Marvel. Like, he is that guy who's always like, he's the cornerstone.
That guy.
Well, he still really is, but the way that they're doing it now, obviously they're relaunching everything, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that in the fall.
Well, I mean, we're gonna have two Caps, so.
So,
Yeah.
What'd you guys think about our Superhero Mad Libs? Did you like it? Would you buy this if it was an ongoing series? Which one was your favorite?
It's not going to be an ongoing series. Don't worry about that.
So now we're going to move right along into our pick of the week for comics that we've read over the past week. It doesn't have to be brand new issues that just came out. It can be stuff that maybe you read off Marvel Unlimited, or just stuff that you've had in your box for a while, or just whatever it is. Whatever struck you and stuck with you for this week. So
whatever one issue stuck with you.
Right.
Alec.
Alec, you kick us off here, and then we'll go to Josh, and then I'll give you guys mine at the end.
All right, so let's take it back to 2012. Right, let's close your eyes. I'm going to walk you through a scenario. 2012, a man by the name of Matt Fraction, shows up and he watches the Avengers film. He loves the Avengers film, but Hawkeye just isn't getting enough recognition. So what does he do? He goes home and writes a book about what Hawkeye does when he's not part of the Avengers. I introduce you to 2012's Hawkeye issue 1, and it was a beauty. So this issue kicks off with Hawkeye fighting crime as he usually does, and he's just like inner monologue, and he's saying, well, I don't have a magic hammer, an indestructible shield, or a suit of armor, so what do I have? I have bones that can break. And so he falls out of a window and breaks every bone of in his body. He's like, no, I don't have any mythical healing factor or anything like that. So then it switches to a panel that says 6 weeks later, and he's getting out of the hospital. He's walking to his apartment complex, or his apartment building in the middle of New York, where everything happens in the Marvel Universe.
It only took him 6 weeks to heal every bone in his body.
It wasn't literally every bone in his body. It was like they had a list, but I'm not gonna read you the list. It was like a cracked rib, broken femur.
Like,
I remember
It's comics, man. It's
only
comics.
6 weeks. Yeah,
Okay.
it's comics. They could have said a different number.
Okay, so he walks to his apartment building where he sees his Russian landlords kicking out an old defenseless lady, saying, "Bro, the rent is tripled. You have to pay or you have to leave." And so, what does he do? He sneaks in that night to the Russians' underground gambling vicinity, and he throws a big bag of money down, saying, I'll pay everyone's rent, and I'll buy the apartment complex from you." And so the Russian says, "Bro, you cannot just walk into Russian gambling vicinity with a bag full of money." And so he jumps into he gets into a big gang fight. And it ends with Hawkeye kicking ass, of course, as he usually does. And he pretty much steals the apartment building from everybody. I mean, from the Russians. So now he owns an apartment building that he's paying billions of dollars for. And hilarity ensues. What can I say? I never really liked Hawkeye before I read this issue, or this run, because they're only limiting me to one issue. Thanks, guys. I wanted to talk about all of them.
I was only joking.
It's too late, Josh. You made up your mind. I already described the first issue. But for anybody looking to pick this up, it's a little old. It's 2012, but you know what? It's a great independent story. It does not correlate with any of Marvel's numerous, copious amounts of events. So, and it's all like episodic. You don't have to read the previous issue to know what's happening.
Yeah, it's a really, really good series, and it does have some weird art, though.
Josh didn't like that art.
Yeah, Josh is not a fan of the art of the Hawkeye series.
I'm not. I couldn't get through it.
And I won't
It's
lie.
not bad. It's just like cartoonish.
I won't lie. I don't like the art either, but I just really like the storytelling that I'm able to overlook the art. But
It's just hilarious.
See, like
I
I like old Hawkeye, but all of the recent series, I've not liked any of the art for it at all.
Just read the book, man. Why do you have to be an art grub? It's a good book. It's
Okay,
so good.
but you see, the art is half of the book.
Just read the dialogue and just use your imagination. But like it's funny that we were just talking about the trick arrows because in the latest issue, he's like talking to who the hell is the other Hawkeye, the girl Hawkeye?
Kate Bishop.
Yeah,
Kate Bishop, yeah.
I
Okay,
do that. Come on.
I'm sorry, I don't know Marvel.
Neither do I. That's what I'm saying.
Whatever, man. So he's talking to Kate Bishop and he's like, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna organize all these arrows. And so like he goes to the shop to get some tape so he could like label them. And meanwhile he meets a girl who has like a '97 Dodger. He's like, I always wanted that car. And so they end up making love because Hawkeye's a girl, a lady magnet. And he gets in like this huge firefight with a whole bunch of guys just randomly. Don't ask me how. Just read the issue. It's issue number 3. But so like he's driving in a car and he's getting chased by all these Russians. And he's just like, hand me an arrow. Just hand me any arrow. And he just pulls out these random ass arrows. It's hilarious.
I remember that issue.
He's like, just don't think about it. Just hand me an arrow. It doesn't matter. He pulls out like a net arrow, a fishnet arrow to try to take out cars, a rocket arrow, acid arrows. So yeah, that's my pick of the week.
Awesome. What was your pick of the week, Josh?
Batman Beyond #1.
Whoop, whoop.
With the creative team of Dan Jurgens as the writer, Bernard Chang as the artist, Marcelo Maiolo on colors. I don't know how to say that. And then Dave Sharp on letters. It was a really good book, like especially like if you watch the cartoons and like that's pretty much all you have. That's really all you need to know is pretty much what happened in the cartoons and stuff, and the rest you can really just kind of fill in the blanks yourself. Right now it's Tim Drake as Batman. It's not Terry McGinnis anymore, which I'm a little bit upset about. Which apparently they tell you like it happened in something in Future's End, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't read that,
Horrible.
but it's a continuation from that. So there's things that happen they mention, but you can really just kind of fill in the blanks and stuff. And you have all these connections and everything that you like. If you watch the cartoon, you're like, oh, okay, I remember that. And yeah, it's really fun. It's cool. It's actually a really good like Tim Drake story because you don't really get much Tim Drake anymore.
Yeah, not at all, man.
Like, yeah, no one like Tim Drake. They just kind of like ignored him for like all the New 52 basically. Like, you know, they had him in Teen Titans, but it was. Yeah, we're not going to talk about in the New 52 tonight.
Please don't, man. Try again.
But yeah, so now you have him in this, and it's actually really good. So, like, it's not the best, but it's really good for Batman Beyond, in my opinion. It's better than Future's End.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Anything is better than Future's End.
I think it's a lot of fun and everything. Like, there's just a lot of references, and like the very first thing is Jokers, and just like the very first thing that like just threw me back was you have one of them going Shway, and I was just like, yes, this is the Batman Beyond universe I miss.
It's not the same Batman.
As soon as you hear Shway, it's just like
Shway.
That's it. But no, it's really cool. Everyone's surprised about Batman being there. You have Terry's little brother in there, and he's a little bit upset that Tim Drake is Batman right now, and he doesn't know Tim Drake. He's just kind of like, this guy comes out of nowhere.
That Batman or that Terry didn't give him the
it's
suit.
just like, my brother's not here anymore. It's this guy now. But yeah, it's a good book. I recommend it to pretty much everybody. It's number one.
It's a good jumping on point. For sure. If you're interested in the cartoons and you want to get more into comics through those cartoons, then this is the issue to pick up.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of that, Alec, what was your actual... If you had to give Hawkeye #1 a score, what would you give it?
Oh. We're talking about 1 to 5, 1 to 10.
1 to 10 is what I usually
I'm going to go with a 9.69 out of 10, just because I'm immature.
Exactly. Okay, Josh, what would you give Batman Beyond #1?
Probably an 8, because like the art is good, but it's not the best. Like there's a lot of really great scenes, but there's also a couple scenes that's just like frames that's just like that doesn't really work. But overall, it's good.
Awesome.
And Alec. See, the thing is, it's a comic book. It's not a book. The art is half of the book. You have to take in the art when you're reading it. You have to take that as account as part of your opinion on the book, because it's literally half the book.
Very true, man.
Still an art grubber.
It's still an art grubber. All right, so my pick of the week. My pick of the week is totally different than what everybody predicted, because we were talking about this beforehand. Just a little bit about, make sure we didn't overlap or anything. Everybody assumed I was going to pick Secret Wars #3, which I have a review up on the channel, so go check it out if you haven't already. Read the issue first, because I spoiled the crap out of everything.
You did kind of pick Secret Wars, though, so we were kind of right.
Sort of, yeah. I picked the Secret Wars tie-in, so I guess that sort of counts in there. So I picked The Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows #1, which was written by Dan Slott, who's been the main guy on Spider-Man book now for quite a while. I can't remember exactly when he took over, but he's been writing Spider-Man for a long time. And the art was by Adam Kubert. Kubert, I think is his name. The art was amazing, and the colors were great. That was the first thing I wanted to talk about was the art. This looks like, it looks like a cartoon almost. Like it's so realistic looking. But it looks like you're like watching something unfold right there. It's not just, kind of the art style for the main Secret Wars book. I'm not a real big fan of. It's kind of like watercolor looking. It works, but it's not my favorite kind of art style. But this was just really vibrant, really deep, coloring and shading and stuff, and it was just really, really good. Great, excellent line work too. So that really grabbed my attention. But the story was really, really good. So those who have been Spider-Man fans for a long time, obviously, the backstory with Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson. And if you grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s, you know all about that relationship from the very first Spider-Man trilogy, which really should only have been part 1 and part 2. We won't go that direction, but, you know, it is what it is. So Mary Jane and Peter Parker get married in the comics, and obviously that relationship didn't last because in the main 616 universe they were divorced. But in Battle World, here in Secret Wars, there's a little segment, I don't remember what the actual land was called, what that part of Battle World was called, but there's a part where Peter Parker and Mary Jane from some other universe are married again. And the story opens up with them at a dinner table with their daughter Annie, and he's fixing his web shooters, and so the kid and Mary Jane know who he is, even though Mary Jane tries to keep Annie away from knowing that he's Spider-Man because of the danger it puts her in, and because she might accidentally blurt out his secret identity because she's like 2 years old. Well, throughout the story as it progresses, we see that there's some huge threat to this particular part of Battle World, and this guy, this villain, is trying to take it over. And the Avengers, they try to get Spider-Man on board to go and fight this guy, and he says no because a prison break happens and Venom gets loose, who's Eddie Brock in this particular issue. And Venom literally tries to kill Mary Jane and his kid, like, for the rest of the issue. Like, that's what his main goal is. So you see Peter Parker literally fighting this guy so hard that his hands are meat sacks. That's what he says. He breaks every bone in his hands fighting him. And at the end, he decides to go ahead and kill Venom, to kill Eddie, to save his family. And the issue kind of leaves off with him deciding not to be a superhero anymore. So the next issues are going to pick up, you know, the fallout from all that because the Avengers are all dead now and all that stuff. So it's just really, really crazy story, and I really liked seeing that dynamic of, you know, Peter was driven by his family. Like, to protect his family, he was willing to do the hard thing, which was take out Venom once and for all, and he just went for it. So I thought that was really cool, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. And I had a lot of trouble getting this issue because there was some issues trying to get the digital copy that I bought. But once I finally got that situated, it ended up being the best book of the week. I wish I'd have read it sooner, so I could have done like an actual review on it. But dude, that was my pick of the week.
I didn't even know it was that awesome.
Yeah, that sounded pretty cool.
I think I might check this out.
Yeah, because there's actually a lot more to it than that even. So it's just like you'd have to read it to really catch all of it and just exactly what's going on there. And I have no idea what direction they're taking it. So,
oh, dude, I need to jump on that.
Yeah, it's pretty deep. I was really shocked, really happy. I like Dan Slott. A lot of people are kind of torn about his writing for Spider-Man, but I think he really genuinely gets Spider-Man. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with his run at all on the book. Have you guys read any of that?
What did he write?
I haven't read much Spider-Man in general, honestly.
He's been on the book for like the last 4 years, like something like that. I don't remember exactly what it is.
Was he writing Superior Spider-Man?
Yeah, he wrote Superior Spider-Man.
All right, then I like it.
That whole thing was his idea.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm a slaughter.
Yeah.
Fans.
Yeah.
Like the biggest chunk of Spider-Man that I've read was the however many issues it is for Spider-Man Blue. Like that's the biggest chunk of Spider-Man I've ever read.
Now, jumping into the next segment.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
While we're still on Book of the Week, because we haven't actually announced that we're doing the Book of the Month. So on June 23rd, we will be going over Daredevil, Man Without Fear, as our Book of the Month. So if you guys are want to read that with us or whatever, yeah, we're going to be reviewing it then as a group.
Yes, thank you, Josh. And using that, speaking of Daredevil, have you guys heard the news?
What's the news?
Well,
Mike, go ahead. Go ahead. You like him more than I do.
Oh, dude, I love him. Well, there's some really big casting news for Daredevil today, and it makes me so happy, dude. This made me I was so excited. I like ran upstairs like a little kid on Christmas, man. Like my wife, I'm like, guess what? Guess who they cast for Daredevil season 2? The Punisher. The Punisher is going to be in Daredevil season 2. And the guy they got for this is absolutely perfect. It's
Right?
John Bernthal. And most of you guys probably know him as Shane from the early seasons of The Walking Dead. And also, yeah, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie Fury, which I just watched last night, which is kind of funny. He's in that movie, and he's fantastic there, too.
It was fate.
Yes. The heavens were preparing me for the good news. It's like... I'm excited about this. I think if they're smart, if Marvel is really, really smart, they will use Daredevil Season 2 as a spin-off point for a Punisher solo series. Because
I guess that depends on how popular the character is going to be.
Oh,
See,
dude.
I don't want a Punisher solo series. I do want him in Daredevil. I want to see Punisher. But the thing is that with the Punisher, like, we're having Daredevil, we're having Luke Cage. We're having 2 brutal fighters already in 2 different styles. We don't need a third one. And then they're already talking about having someone else, Ghost Rider, and someone else too. Who was the other one?
Rider. What the hell?
Blade.
Yeah,
Blade.
Blade.
Like, there's already rumors about those, and I'm just like, having Blade, Daredevil, Luke Cage,
it's kind of
Punisher.
Jumping the shark a little early.
That would be for like really brutal fighters, and just kind of like.
I mean, not to mention we're also going to be
something a
getting
little
Iron
more
Fist.
different. What?
Not to mention we're also going to be getting Iron Fist.
Yeah, but I'm just like, we should get something different rather than just all these brutal fighters.
Well, I mean, the Defenders is supposed to be a street level crew.
Yeah,
anyway.
but you have Spider-Woman who's street level. She has powers.
But that's the thing. Like, it's really hard to put someone with those kind of fantastical powers in the MCU as a street level person. Because I mean, like, yeah, it works in the comics because comics. But I mean, you're gonna be like, if this person could like fly and have super strength and like shoot webs, like why isn't she helping out fighting Thanos or something like that? Like the mainstream audience is not gonna take well to like a super powered being in the Defenders. But I think that this is gonna be I think this is good news, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, Luke Cage and Iron Fist are both powered.
Yeah, I know, but they're like introductory level powered.
Yeah.
Luke Cage, I could lift heavy stuff and my skin is really hard. Iron Fist, my fists are as hard as iron. It's not like I could bend time and space with my mind.
Okay, well, yeah, we're not talking about people like that, though, but, like, the Spider characters can definitely easily be street level, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because
but
of the fact that
who owns Spider-Woman, do you know?
Huh?
Does Sony own Spider-Woman?
That I don't
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea who owns the rights. The whole rights thing is a complete and total mess.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, with a lot of their characters.
No, I don't think they did own Spider-Woman, actually.
Let's just be happy. One thing that I found out the other day, let's just be happy that no one who is currently making superhero movies owns the rights for Namor. Because we dodged a bullet on that one, are we all?
God, that would be horrible.
Yeah, I hate Namor. I don't even want to talk about that.
Doesn't hate Namor.
Like, okay, honestly, I don't know how exactly they're gonna do. Like, okay, I can think of for Aquaman. I can think of like a really good Aquaman movie with just Aquaman, but I cannot understand. Like, I just can't see how they're gonna put Aquaman with the rest of the Justice League in live action. Like, that's just something that I'm just really interested to see, but really hesitant about.
Well, see, that's also what I feel about the Punisher. Like, how are they gonna do him with Daredevil? Because I mean, we see this season that like the big people got their own episodes. Like you have Daredevil and Kingpin, they had their own episodes, their whole backstories. Stick came in, but how are they gonna do the Punisher? Is he gonna be like a recurring character, or is he gonna be a one-off?
I think I can answer your question by looking at the logo for the Season 2 Netflix promo thing. They released a logo, and it's full of bullet holes. I'm assuming that obviously, since they released that the same day as the news about the casting of Frank Castle, those two things are highly tied together. So I'm thinking that this isn't just going to be like a minor role. I'm thinking Punisher is going to be like, I think what it is. Here's my idea. You've got Daredevil, who already flirts with the idea of killing bad guys. Okay, and then you've got Punisher. You've got Punisher, who just goes ahead and does it. And I can see like the interaction between those two being, well, why don't you just come and join me and do it my way? Like, you can see both these guys trying to do that, and it's tempting for both, I think, at that point, to be like, yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, I respect you, Murdoch, but you're not really having the same results that I am. These guys are hurting people. I'm actually saving lives, because these dudes aren't coming back after getting out of jail to just go back and do the same crap again. So, I don't know. I think that's going to be a big part of the dynamic there.
See, I think the biggest issue with this is that this is not how I foresaw Season 2 Daredevil taking place at all. Like, I was kind of expecting Elektra news, who's going to be cast as Elektra, and then who's going to be cast as Bullseye.
I think he will. I think the reason why they went ahead and released this now was because of the crap that happened with the Jason Statham, with all that, with him possibly being Bullseye and then dropping out because the story leaked. Which I don't want him anywhere in the Marvel universe anyway, because that dude's a dick.
He doesn't even like superhero movies. He said that in an interview.
I know, the dude's just a huge D-bag, so like I don't want him anywhere near it anyway. I'm glad he's not in there. I mean, it would have been cool to have his martial arts skills. It would have fit well in Daredevil, but I don't want him anywhere near it.
He's one of those people who thinks that superhero movies ruined action movies, and I'm just like, no, they may not be doing their own stunts. I'm just like, but they actually have stories. They're not just a bunch of explosions. If anything, they're improving on action stories.
Yeah, exactly. The Expendables. Good point, Alec. This guy talking about how these movies don't have good stories and they're brain dead and all this stuff. I'm like, I've watched The Expendables, man.
Like, literally, most action movies are just explosions.
Literally, yeah, you're right. But like, I want to see how they do how they do the Punisher though, because I mean, Frank Castle has a very tragic backstory. I may not know a lot about him, but I know his backstory. How are they going to implement that in the series? Is it just going to be like
flashbacks?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But like maybe they could just do his origin as of like Daredevil like maybe they can make it because of Daredevil failing to capture somebody.
I don't want them to do an origin like at all. I want them to just be like, yeah.
Oh, they're definitely going to do an origin, dude. That's
the thing. I don't think they should, because I think it's so much cooler like having these characters, and it's just like, man, this guy's awesome, but you're curious about them, but it's just like you don't need, like, it's not necessary information. Yeah, it's going to build on the character, but it's not necessary for the show.
You know what I feel they could do? Just have a brief monologue of him describing his origins, and then boom,
there you go.
Because, like, spoiler alert, possibly for Season 2 Daredevil, but they could just have him saying, like, you know why I kill these thugs? Because a thug killed my family. Boom, that's it.
Yeah, that's the most that I would want.
I think an even better way to do it is to do it gradually throughout the season with just little hints of what happened, without necessarily even coming out and saying it, letting people figure it out for themselves. Like, you know why I kill the bad guys or whatever, and then him just walk out of the room and then like a picture of his family's on the wall.
Yeah,
it's like,
I mean, like,
I think a badass, mysterious Punisher sounds so much cooler than just having, oh yeah, this guy, this happened to him, so he does this. Okay.
Yeah, I can understand that too, and I can understand what you're saying too. How you don't want an origin story, and how it's better to like keep that shrouded in a mystery, because I mean, the mainstream people who are going to see Daredevil Season 2 are going to be like, this guy's awesome. I gotta find out more about him. This is the comic story.
It's just going to be too much time spending like doing origins if they're going to introduce big people. Like, I think if they have Elektra and they have Bullseye, those should be people who you would want origins, because those are big people in the comics. Yeah. It's just like, that would be too much. Like, they have a lot more time, but I just don't feel like it would be that important.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, something that we're all skipping over and that I think we should like focus on is that fact that freaking Punisher is going to be in the MCU.
I know. That's what I'm more interested in.
Dude!
Because every character that they get for these Netflix shows signs movie deals.
Exactly.
So is he going to be in Infinity Wars? Because they're talking about the way that the Russo brothers are talking about Infinity Wars is every single character that's been established at that point from the MCU is going to be in that movie.
Oh god damn, that's
Either
gonna be a long movie, dude. Part 2.
Well, that's why there's 2. Yeah, that's why there's 2 movies. So he may not show up until part 2, or he may be in part 1 and then not.
But
be
I mean,
in
like,
part 2.
but like, how were they do? That's what I don't see. The same thing that I thought whenever they released that for Daredevil, they're saying, "Oh, this guy signed on for the movie deals." How are they gonna implement him in Infinity Wars?
Simple, man. Kill aliens, not people.
Yeah, but how are they gonna get him there?
Oh, how are they going to get Daredevil there? The same way that the Avengers can't be up fighting Thanos and down on Earth stopping whatever invasion force he helps bring. So you got to have your ground troops, and then you got to have your special forces unit.
And then you're gonna have the little Agents of Shield Sky group.
Right.
Oh god, are they really gonna be in the movies?
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if they'll use them or not. But chances are, it's going to be pretty hard to explain how they're not there and everybody else is. So,
especially since they're going to be a group of powered people.
Especially Coulson.
Yeah, they'll have to bring him back.
Their leader. Coulson's going to be the leader of the Defenders too. He's going to be the one who brings them together. So
really?
I'm just there's no way that they're going to have one Coulson power team, but not the other Coulson power team.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want to see what they do after the show, though, because, I mean, this is the first we've heard of this character, and he's not by any means a background character. This is a character who deserves to have the spotlight shown on him. But whenever all the shows were announced, Punisher wasn't one of them.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because there has been massive fan outpouring for a Punisher series. I've been seeing stuff about it posted all over YouTube, all over all the different places on the internet, people saying, we want a Punisher series, we want Punisher, we want Punisher. But rather than just, okay, we're going to give him his own series, they're going to use this to introduce him. And I'm almost positive that if he gets a positive fan feedback, reaction, and I'm sure he probably will, given that this actor is amazing and the writing staff on this show is amazing, he'll have his own series. But I don't think it'll be right after Daredevil. I think it'll be a little ways off.
Oh yeah, it'll definitely be a Phase 4 kind of thing, but
yeah. I want them to just focus on Iron Fist. I want them to get Iron Fist out there as fast as possible.
Yeah, that's all I'm waiting for.
Come on. Yeah, because that's gonna be our introduction to the mythological aspects in these television shows.
Yeah,
definitely. We have Doctor Strange for the movies, but speaking of Iron Fist, the guy who kicks ass. Doctor Strange don't kick no ass.
Well, I don't know. Have you seen him? Have you seen the new picture of him? He's holding that big axe.
I haven't. No.
With the new Marvel all new paper thing that they promos that they released.
No.
No, I haven't seen any of those.
You know why? Because I'm not looking for Doctor Strange news.
No, it's not. It's comic news for post Secret Wars.
Oh, then I don't care about Marvel.
Mike, I could have sworn you've seen him.
I might have.
The picture with the whole lineup of post Secret Wars characters.
Oh yes. Dude, I was totally thinking something completely different.
Yeah, in one of them you have Doctor Strange up in the corner holding a giant axe.
What?
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
That sounds pretty badass.
Speaking of, while we're talking about this, they're having Spider-Gwen and it looks like she's gonna be in the main universe.
Please, man, please! I'll pick up that series. What? Why? What's wrong with you, Josh?
What are you
making little kids cry?
I don't want her to be in the main continuity right now because she hasn't had her story fleshed out. There's so much questions that have her story.
Listen. They can just take Silk and put her in that universe and take Spider-Gwen and put her in our universe.
But I want to know her relationship with her dad. If she comes in this universe, is her dad still gonna be alive? All these things that are going on.
And her dad comes back. Boom.
Yeah, but all the things that are going on in her story, I'm just I want to know more about the Matt Murdock who's working for Kingpin and everything like that.
I'm sure that they'll flesh out that universe more in future installments, but
I don't know. I'm just and I want them to go back to the beginning with her too, in general.
Look, it's interesting to like think of all these multiverses and like different aspects of the world. Like, oh, I want to see what happens in this possibility. But the one thing that I like about Spider-Gwen, the thing that caught my attention first and foremost, is her interactions with Spider-Man. Because like that's just way too interesting, and they really rushed past that in Spider-Verse. Not that I read Spider-Verse.
Yeah, you
but
did.
like, shut up.
I like Spider-Verse.
I thought it was all right. Here's my thing. I think we have enough spider people.
Whoa, so many, dude. They could have their own universe.
I know.
Like, but I mean, think about it. Like, you have the same thing with
X-Men.
with DC, with every character.
What do you mean?
How they have their whole multiverse.
No, not.
Like, it's the same thing with Spider-Man and all their universes, though. It's just, we're just focusing on Spider-Man. Like, if you had all the other characters at the same time, it wouldn't look so bad, because it's not just the Spider People. But you have to remember that.
In the main continuity, though, like in 616, there's a crap load of Spider People.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about the multiverses and all that. I'm like, just talking about in general, like, you have Ben Reilly, the other guy, Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, the other guy,
Spider-Girl.
Spider-Girl, thank you for helping me out. There's just a lot of people who can shoot webs and take names.
Yeah, right.
Well, but Spider-Woman, what is exactly Spider-Woman's web thing that she shoots? Because it's not like, I don't know, they're weird.
Spider-Woman is
like some of them
Yeah, she's a really
yeah, because like some of them shoot like the glowy webs, and I'm just like, I don't know what that is, but your webs, okay, I guess.
I have no idea. I don't care too much about that. But them adding another Spider Person into the mix, it makes
they're adding
two
Spider People into the. There's Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and then Spider-Woman, I think.
But they're adding the good ones, so it's okay.
Yeah. Too bad they don't add Spider-Ham, though.
Yeah, for real. Spider-Ham's where it's at.
Like, that would be amazing. Adventures of Spider-Ham and Howard the Duck.
Oh my god, I could be on that.
And then like, they have Rocket Raccoon appearing every now and then, too.
That would be sweet.
That would be so amazing.
That's called fan fiction, my friend.
So, that's not the only big story, John Bernthal being cast as the Punisher. We have some big DC news, and that is the official release of the synopsis for Batman vs. Superman, which actually doesn't give away the whole dang movie, which was what I was afraid it was going to do, because, you know, Suicide Squad, that's all I need to say there. Given totally just like everything away with all the pictures and leaks and stuff. So we got this little synopsis here, and it actually is pretty good. I'm going to actually read it real quick, and then we will talk about it. It says, fearing the actions of a godlike superhero left unchecked, Gotham City's own formidable, forceful vigilante takes on Metropolis's most revered modern-day savior, while the world wrestles with what sort of hero it really needs. And with Batman and Superman at war with one another, a new threat quickly arises, putting mankind in greater danger than it's ever known before.
So for everyone who's been following Batman vs. Superman, this is what we've been speculating. They're just confirming it.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll tell you what, the one thing that interests me is the last sentence. A new threat quickly arises, putting mankind in greater danger than it's ever known before.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Well, think about it. This is a universe that has experienced an alien battle in the middle of its biggest city with Zod, who almost leveled the entire city of Metropolis, just him and Superman duking it out. What the hell could be bigger than Zod? What could be more frightening, a bigger danger and threat? It certainly can't be Lex Luthor. It cannot be Lex Luthor.
Let me introduce you to the Marvel Universe. They have Brainiac. That's probably the most fan requested and the most plausible.
I don't think it is. I think it's Doomsday.
Dude, they're not gonna blow their load so early. What do you think Justice
dude.
League is gonna be, man? Justice League is gonna be Darkseid.
Yeah, that's for sure. But see, there's been so much speculation and so many like different people who have supposedly talked to sources who are working on this movie who have said that Doomsday is going to be the main bad guy here. And
Well, I mean, anyone could just say that though.
yeah, exactly. But I think that there's a very strong possibility that it could be him.
What do you think, Josh? Do you think it's Doomsday?
Wait, I don't want Doomsday.
Ah, thank
I don't
you.
know if they can. I don't know if they can handle Doomsday right now.
They can't handle Doomsday right now, man. They can't.
I don't want Doomsday, but I think that's a good possibility of who they might be going for.
Nah,
dude. I don't think it's a good idea.
They're gonna stick intergalactic. They're not gonna stick to like new gods and like that fast. They're gonna introduce like more aliens into the mix. Because I mean, like the whole premise, which is something that I heard earlier this year, is like a synopsis kind of. Not really official though. Okay, so saying that General Zod and Superman's fight got the attention of other intergalactic foes. Doomsday is an intergalactic foe. I mean, Doomsday's not. He's from Apocalypse. Brainiac is. Brainiac is an intergalactic enemy. So I mean, like, if anyone's gonna come in, if anyone fits that mold, it's Brainiac. I mean, we could also fit a whole bunch of other villains into the list, but like, that's the big one.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't want them to use Doomsday. I think that's a really bad idea. But it's obvious that there's no way this is Lex Luthor because...
Oh, it's not Lex Luthor. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg can't even handle it, man.
I know. Like, this is what I see Lex Luthor's role in this movie being. I think he's going to plant some seeds of doubt about Superman in Bruce Wayne's head. That's what I think he's going to do.
Boom. Beautiful to me. It sounds beautiful to me.
But think about that line we heard in the teaser. You know, demons don't come from...
Wait. Can I say it? Can I say it?
Yes, do it.
So, demons don't come from the sky, from the ground below us. They come from the sky above us.
Oh, yeah. I'm not feeling Jesse Eisenberg's delivery at all.
Not one bit. He just sounds like a cocky asshole.
Yeah, I think the look. I think he's got the look. I mean, I could believe him looking like Lex Luthor.
If he got a little bit more puff.
What they should do is that they should just get the guy from Smallville.
Michael Rosenbaum. Yes, he was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Best
They
Lex
just need to
Luthor
get
ever.
him. He was perfect.
Or DH Bruce Willis.
Yeah, that's not
I'm just saying if that could happen. That would be awesome.
So,
but anyway.
yeah, like it's obviously not him. I feel like that's going to be his role. It's just kind of pushing the plot forward as far as making Superman and Batman enemies. Obviously, because he, I think, will feel threatened by Superman being there. I
mean, that's the whole point of Lex Luthor existing.
Right. So he knows he doesn't have what it takes right now to take on Superman, but Bruce Wayne does. Maybe he even knows who Batman is. I mean, there's a good possibility he knows that Bruce is Batman.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. But like, jumping back to the Doomsday Brainiac thing. So think about this. Doomsday is a villain that requires the entire Justice League to defeat. Brainiac, Batman, and Superman together could knock him out. And I mean, this is supposed to be freaking Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, but they're not gonna like implement everybody and use all their powers and CGI budget in this one final scene in this movie just to defeat Doomsday.
Right.
I don't really feel like it's going to be either of them. I feel like it's going to be something just surprising that, what if it's Starro? Let's just bring Starro.
Starro? What if it's Batmite or Bizarro?
No, imagine that though. Them bringing the Justice League together in the same way that they first did it in the comics. That would be such big news.
It would be stupid news, but it'll be news. I'll tell you that.
Like that would be so. I think that'd be awesome. Like if they could do Starro well, which would be actually pretty hard to do.
When was the last time Starro was done well? He wasn't even done well in the Justice League origin story.
Yeah.
Starro is a character that can't be done well. It's like making a solo series for All for Law Lad. It doesn't happen. No, they're definitely going to take the new... I mean, these movies have been taking a lot of things from the New 52, so they're going to take the origin of the Justice League from the New 52, which is Darkseid.
And I think that's a good way to go.
Exactly. That's the best way to go. I want these movies to be successful.
But the thing about Darkseid is Marvel has Thanos going on right now too, so.
But I mean, DC has to play this smart though, because I mean, like if they use Darkseid for this, they're gonna have to depower him something fierce. I mean, it's possible to have them do Darkseid and like have Darkseid not ready or in a weakened state or something like that, and then have him come back for Justice League. But that's not the best way to do it.
I think I think that the way they're doing it with the New 52, taking a lot of stuff out of that is a really good way to bring in these characters like this and make it more realistic and set it apart from what Marvel's doing. Like, I want DC movies to succeed too. I mean, so I really wasn't all that excited about this movie up until like the last few months, like just because
the trailers.
I liked Man of Steel, and I wanted to see them focus a little more on Superman, like Superman done just a little bit better. But the thing that I like about how they're doing this is we're not getting the whole freaking movie in leaks and everything else. They have kept this stuff
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they've kept this super tight, and so now we're starting to get little bits of what's going on with the story slowly, and it's really building the anticipation.
I just hatched an idea. I've been thinking that the executives of like DC are dumbasses. So, excuse my language for like not keeping Suicide Squad under wraps. What if they did that on purpose? They're like, well, let's just push this movie in the limelight and pull Batman vs Superman away, so everything's a surprise for Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
It's still stupid, though.
Yeah, what's stupid about that, though, is they're giving us all this crap about Batman. It's like, instead of keeping it a mystery until closer to the release date, so we're all surprised and pumped to go see the movie, we've already seen like a crap ton of what's going on with Batman and the Joker and other stuff.
Let's not talk about the Joker, please.
Oh, gosh.
I'm trying to keep my lunch down.
So, you see, I'm still not really that excited for Batman vs Superman because I absolutely I'm like yeah, this is gonna be I'm looking forward to it and stuff. I'm not like I'm all excited for anything because of the fact that Man of Steel kind of sucked. It was a terrible representation of Superman.
How? Are we about to have a debate right now, Josh?
He essentially flattened Smallville.
He didn't flatten Smallville. He flattened Metropolis.
Oh, he did some serious damage to Smallville.
He destroyed an IHOP. That's hardly a crime.
And the whole downtown.
They like destroyed Smallville, and like as soon as I saw that, I was just like, nope.
I think that's an accurate representation of Superman in a real life setting.
Okay, Superman would never destroy Smallville though.
Not on purpose. He didn't do it on purpose.
He would always take the fights away from Smallville. Are you kidding me?
Well,
Smallville's like the one place that he would always protect.
He doesn't know how to be a hero yet. He's still learning these things. Maybe that's where the interaction with the seasoned veteran Batman is going to
That's the thing that was always so great about Superman, is that he didn't have to learn those as Superman, because he was raised that way by
I'm sorry they made Superman more human.
Thing.
Yeah,
wait, what?
I said I'm sorry they made Superman more human. He makes mistakes, man.
The thing here,
but you see, that's the thing, is that he's supposed to have learned this stuff growing up and implement it as Superman, not learn it as Superman.
Yeah, I don't like the way they did that at all. Like the whole Jonathan Kent saying, well, maybe you should have let those kids in the bus die. Like, what? Jonathan Kent would have never said that, ever. He would have never said anything like that. As much as he would want Clark to protect his identity and his powers, he never would have told him to do that at the expense of another human being's life. Yeah, maybe.
He killed someone. He killed someone. That was just over the top. I was like, that's.
But to be fair,
the one line he'll never cross.
But like, to be fair, he killed Zod in the comics.
Yeah. Josh, he's coming from a Marvel guy. How are you gonna let him school you like that?
Okay. But you see, the thing is that they had already been fighting for a long time, a much longer period of time.
Well, let's just think about it. I thought it made a lot of sense. Like, Superman had no way of stopping Zod's lasers from like killing that family.
Okay. I thought that was really dumb too, because the family literally could have gone under it and moved. The family did not move. They had ample
If you were
space
there,
to
what would
move.
you do? What would you do if you were there? I would freeze up. I don't know about you.
I would be like, let's get out of the way of the damn lasers.
Serious. Yeah. I'd just be like, there's 2 aliens fighting in freaking the metropolitan area.
My first thought would be get out of the way of the damn lasers, not stand where the lasers are gonna come hit me eventually.
Yeah, that was really. There was.
Okay,
That's where there was
I'll
big
give
plot
you
holes
that,
in
I'll give you
this.
The family was stupid. let's just set it with that. Superman was not stupid. He did what he had to do.
If he has the strength to crack his neck, doesn't he have the strength to just move his head?
Shut up.
See, that's what. Yeah, see, that's the problem. That's the problem. For me, it's not the fact that he decided to go and kill Zod. That I'm totally fine with it. I know a lot of people are
If
like,
there had been more of a reason for him to kill him, then I would be understanding.
yeah, or just like the way that they did it.
There was plenty of reason for him to kill Zod.
Not at that moment. There was not.
What are you talking about? All the events.
Superman always tries to find a different way. If there was no other way, that's different. But there was other ways.
Zod, man.
There is no.
How can you argue with that? He is Zod. He's gonna keep on killing if you let him live. How are you gonna stop him? You're gonna figure out what the hell kryptonite is before the second movie and somehow prison him in it? How are you gonna hold him captive? Are you gonna set him into the freaking what is it called?
That's why I don't think they should have done Zod first to begin with.
If you were to make a Superman movie, who would you start off with? Doomsday?
Oh yeah, totally. That would be perfect. No,
You
I
said
don't even know.
sarcastically.
I wouldn't start off with someone who is that powerful, because
It
like
makes sense because that can. It can make
There's
sense.
no way
because,
he would have been able to beat Zod in a fight. Are you kidding me?
I mean, he did though.
Zod is a highly trained general. Zod is a highly trained general in the military.
Listen, the reason why
He's
they
a
did this
farm
is because
boy.
Zod is the perfect character for a Superman origin story.
No,
Because he's from Krypton. Who would be better?
it
than
makes
him?
no sense.
Lex Luthor?
It makes no sense for him to be able to beat Zod at that point in time, because on Earth they would be of equal strength, basic strength, but see, Zod is highly trained and knows how to fight and knows how to yeah.
Well, they
he's
implemented
highly
that.
trained in
Superman was getting
everything. He may not know how to
his
use
butt
the
whooped for,
same
like, half the
powers,
movie.
but he's still trained and knows how to fight much better than Superman.
Here's my take on it. I think that I'm okay with Zod being the main villain, but I'm not okay with the plot holes about how Superman took him out. Like you're saying with the, if he's strong enough to crack his neck, why the heck, didn't he just move his head away? Or, all that stuff. There's all kinds of plot holes there, but ultimately it comes down to like what Alex said. He had no way of putting him back in the Phantom Zone. They can't lock him up anywhere. The only choice he really had was to kill him, and that was the writer's fault. That's the direction that took, because he painted himself into a corner. There was no other way to go at that point except kill Zod, and I think it was a waste of a character, because I think if they would have found a way to do it a little bit differently and preserve Zod somehow, he could have come back and played kind of like a Loki kind of role, only without all the silliness, for the DC Cinematic Universe. Coming back with like maybe in a Justice League movie, working alongside one of the other villains or whatever, and he could have been that extra guy in the mix. Instead, they just completely took that character and threw him away, and I don't think that was a wise choice. But I'm okay with him killing him for sure. Like, especially given the script that was written, there wasn't really any other way to deal with him. So I'm okay with that. But like you said, plot holes, man, plot holes.
The good thing is that they're addressing all the errors from Man of Steel inside Batman vs Superman, because like they're using that whole complaint as the basis for Batman being in the story. Like, Batman saw the damage that was done to Metropolis in Smallville. He saw that he killed the villain, so he's going to try to stop him.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I just don't like the fact that he killed, because especially since like I've been reading a lot of books and stuff, and like I was reading a Booster Gold right now, and like a bunch of time travel crap. So he's fighting. They have Maxwell Lord, and Maxwell Lord has Superman under his control, but the one thing he can't get him to do is kill, because that's one thing Superman will not do. And there's more than one iteration of that happening in the comics. Yes, there's a couple times where he's killed, but way more times where he always says that there's another way. So the fact that they chose one of the minor times, like one of the very few times that he actually kills, over the many times that he says no, I'm better than that, was a bit annoying. And I don't even like Superman that much.
So why are you complaining, man? Just enjoy the movie.
Because that's like saying Batman runs around at Gotham during the day instead of at night.
No, it's not. That's
like it's one of the basic. It's one of the fundamental basic aspects of that character.
Not really.
That they do not do this.
It's not a fundamental basic aspect of the character, though. Because
it is with Superman, though. That's the thing.
He can kill if he needs to. If there's no other answer, if he's wasted all of the other opportunities.
But okay, but Superman always says, except for very few times in the comics, he always says there's another way.
10 times. I'm
always.
Sure Goku could name like 10 times.
Superman in the Elite, he fights an entire team because he always feels there's another way.
But that was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a long-time Superman fan. Like, I got into Superman comics when I was a little kid, and then up until, the last year when I kind of gave DC a break because, well, my wallet couldn't afford both Marvel and DC. Superman was never the kind of character he would kill. He always did try to find a way, but there was a few occasions, like Josh said, where he didn't really have a choice, but, like, it tears him up emotionally. Like, it alters his character and his psyche, how he handles things from that point forward. It's never just it just had to be done. He's not like the Punisher who just goes in and wastes somebody and goes home and goes to sleep like a baby, It's like, it really messes with him. So it'll be interesting to see if they play that up. If they play that up in Batman vs. Superman, I think it redeems that aspect just a little bit, Like, if they make that something that actually, like, haunts him, then that could be some basis for some good character development. But, if they don't walk that direction with it, then I don't know, man. That's something I'm okay with what he did, but at the same time, it is a departure from classic Superman. So,
I guess we'll just have to see Batman versus Superman to see where they take this.
Yeah,
and it was very dark, very, very dark. Like just the colors, the color scheme is.
It looks like they've corrected that for this, though. Like, the suit looks much more vibrant and stuff. So, it was bad, the color correction crap that they did to it.
I want to see, like, for Batman vs. Superman, I want to see stark contrast between them. Like, I want to see a bright Superman and a really dark, gritty kind of Batman, because that's how it's actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, that's our news for this week. What? I forget.
Oh, no, you didn't forget anything. I just wanted to try this. Like, okay, so they have Batman, Superman, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and all these great characters in the DCU. But you know who they don't have? Who they definitely should? Who had a movie back in the day?
Who?
Manhunter?
There you go. Our character spot.
Manhunter. That's who I want.
Swamp Thing.
Swamp
Thing would make for a better movie anyway.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. See, Swamp Thing is just a character that I don't care about. Like, I know about him, and I've looked him up a little bit, and after looking him up, I realized that I really don't care about him.
Swamp Thing is a pretty awesome character, man.
Yeah, I actually started, after doing some research for the podcast, I actually really started getting into that character a little bit. Like, I'd like to know more. Like, he's definitely not the, world's greatest superhero, but it would be interesting to see how he would fit in.
See, now everyone has this preconceived notion of Swamp Thing because of the campy 70s movie or 80s movie. And
it was bad. I mean, it was bad.
It was really bad. And they played him off as nothing more than a monster, but in reality, Swamp Thing is a really in-depth, really psychological character. Like, he's really deep. He has really deep morals and very, very deep aspects of himself.
Right. I think you know the most about him, Alex. So why don't you fill us in on kind of like a little bit about his backstory, and then maybe shine a little bit of light on what is going on with his character now, or at least recently in the last few years, or whatnot.
Well, I actually don't know Swamp Thing's backstory, other than the fact that his name is Alec. Because
Ah, nice. I didn't catch that.
Well, I know that he appeared in 1970. He's made by Jack Kirby, I believe. And he was made around the same era where superhero comics just weren't selling as much as, say, mythical monster
comics. He was created by Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson.
Don't know who those are, but it's not Jack Kirby.
No.
Wow, you were way off.
I'm sorry. I just assumed that every comic book character is created by Jack Kirby.
Appeared in House of Secrets number 92.
Yep.
In what year? 70?
1971.
Boom! Okay, that's right on the nose. So, I knew that he came around the time that superhero comics just weren't selling as well as like monster and mystery comics. And so, like, DC trying to appeal to a larger fan base created this character who was, in all rights and purposes, a monster. Just so, like, to sell books. And it worked. He blew up, and now he's one of the mainstays in the DC universe.
Right.
So, Swamp Thing has all the powers that you would think he would have. He could control plant life. Let's see, what else?
And his consciousness can travel anywhere there's a plant, any kind of plant life. He can transfer his consciousness to that particular plant. So, like, if he manifests himself as some form or whatever, and that form gets blown up, he just transfers his consciousness away, and then he can just like regenerate. So he's kind of like immortal in a way, I guess. As long as there's some kind of plant life around, he can just keep regenerating and
see, like,
take him out to the desert.
Not in the desert. What I like to think of Swamp Thing, I like to think of Clayface meets Groot. As far as powers go.
Right.
Because, I mean, like, he has a lot of Groot's powers where he can, like, manipulate vegetation and with a whole bunch of, like, and use our different aspects. Like, I think there's this one comic where I think Constantine got a sunburn and he transformed into aloe vera. But and then he's also Clayface as like he can manipulate his body in different ways, super strength and super durability. And I mean, just like Groot, if he dies, he could grow back by a single leaf.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there was two Swamp Things. Actually, I think there's been more than that, but I think there's been two main ones. And the first one was a scientist, Alex Olson, and then the other one was Alec Holland. And Alec Holland is like the main one who's been reoccurring throughout the decades there. So basically what happened, the basic backstory is this Alex Olson guy was working in on a biorestorative formula, and his lab gets destroyed by a big explosion. And he's caught in the explosion, and he's set on fire, so he runs into the swamp, and that's where he becomes Swamp Thing. And it's kind of a similar backstory to Alec Holland's as well. I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference between the two of them. But they really changed the mythos of Swamp Thing over the years. They went from just being, the result of an experiment gone wrong to there being this thing called the Green. And that's like this kind of, I don't know even really know how to explain it. It's like some kind of mystical force almost. Like
DC loves their mystical forces.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of
like there's the green and there's the red. The green is like plants and everything like that, and the red is like animals and things like that.
Yeah, and there's like his opposite, which since he's the green and it's like plant life, there's the rot. And I think it's like black or something like that, or I'm not sure what it is. But the most famous popular run for this comic was from Alan Moore, which Watchmen, for those who are big into graphic novels, and that's definitely Alan Moore's best work was Watchmen. But he actually did the most famous run on this Swamp Thing character too. I can't remember when it started, but he did like 64 issues of the character, and it's been the stuff that they've used now to kind of go back and look at his character and take elements from and new storytelling and stuff. So I've never read it, but seems like it would probably be pretty good. And he was also in The Brightest Day.
Oh yeah. That's where I'm most familiar from Swamp Thing because he played kind of a huge role in bringing back a lot of characters. Josh, do you know anything about this?
No, actually, I don't. I haven't actually read The Brightest Day.
Well, the premise behind Brightest Day came right after Blackest Night. Blackest Night, all these dead heroes were resurrected with Black Lantern rings. And so, in Brightest Day, Swamp Thing, at least, we're talking about Swamp Thing's individual story, he believes himself to be the entity of Necron, which is the entity of death in the DC universe. And he's like, I'm not Alec Holland, I'm not Swamp Thing, I'm Necron in Swamp Thing's body. And so he starts rampaging around Metropolis, Gotham, and Star City. I think Central City too. No, Star City. And he just starts rampaging around, and then he pretty much he gathers these this like small armada of dead heroes. They have Hawkman, the Hawk People, Firestorm, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter, and I think Deadman was in there too. And pretty much, I'm not going to spoil the whole. I'm not going to go into depth in it because it's a long story. But he becomes a White Lantern, which is the entity of life in the DC universe, and he was the instrument. He played the instrumental role in bringing back heroes like Martian Manhunter and Aquaman from the dead.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Swamp Thing, White Lantern.
Yeah, I mean it goes hand in hand because plant life, symbolization, and all that crap.
Makes sense.
Interesting.
Makes sense. I thought it was just really. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as far as like the New 52, he's played minor to major roles in Justice League Dark, which is itself an amazing book. Just saying.
See, I've never kept up with that particular series before, the Justice League Dark, but I've wanted to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he has like a kind of a. I don't know how tight they are exactly, but a pretty close relationship with John Constantine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're buddies, man. They're real close buddies. And I wish I could tell you more about it, but I'm not really in depth as far as like that story with them two.
Right. Yeah, I'm not either.
Back whenever the Constantine TV series was still a thing, everyone was trying to get Swamp Thing on there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I actually was really interested in going back and picking up some old issues about this character after reading up on him. I was like, it seems like he's got some interesting, stories that have been told, especially the Alan Moore stuff. That's what I want to go back and check out first. I'm not usually a huge fan of comics from that era. Like the 70s and 80s were just horrible eras for comic books, in my opinion. I've tried to read
The Dark Knight Returns Part 2. Anybody?
Oh. I mean, yeah, there was a couple of gems, like the original Dark Knight Returns, which was freaking amazing and set the bar for everything that we have now as far as Batman. But, I mean, dude, have you ever tried to read the original Secret Wars? It's horrible. Like, the dialogue is horrible.
I just tried to read it recently. It's not very good.
No.
They repeat so many things.
It's just the dialogue. I can't get around the dialogue. Like, no, who the hell talks like that? Nobody talks like that.
Spider-Man talks like that.
They're like before I beat you up, you better do this before I beat you up. It's just like, oh.
Yeah. I wonder if we just go through a time machine and see the 70s and 80s, if that's how they really talked. Give me your lunch money before I beat you up. Give me your lunch money.
Yeah, somehow I doubt it. But yeah, I actually was really intrigued by him. So I think this was an interesting character to do the spotlight on, because I don't think a lot of people even know that he's with DC.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think that there's a lot of people, well, at least not a lot of, heavy comic book readers might know that, and big DC fans probably know that. But I'm not sure if like guys like me who are into Marvel or who kind of get down with the indie books maybe never knew that he was with DC to begin with, that's where he got his start, and that's, been his staple. Like, it's kind of interesting. He's kind of an oddball character, and I think it's pretty cool that he's got some exposure there. I would like to see him be a bigger player in what they're doing now, but...
Oh, definitely, dude. I mean, he has been confirmed to appear in the Injustice Year 3 comic, for anybody who knows what that is. It's yes. A good book. Yeah, he's been confirmed to appear in the next couple issues of that.
Is that a weekly?
Yes. Yes, it is.
See, that's the thing. I love weeklies, but I don't love the price. You know, it's like
Yeah, it's like $3.99 every week.
It's just way too much, man. We'll save that for another topic.
Mm-hmm.
Not a fan of
Comics
weeklies.
price.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a good story, if it's like Batman Eternal, I kind of like that one, but I just can't invest weekly into a story. And then the ever-changing art style.
Most weeklies are bad,
Yes.
like Convergence.
Yeah, I just can't stand how the art changes week to week, man. It's like so inconsistent, and one week you may get excellent art, the next week it looks like a third grader with a crayon, just kind of colored over some.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody. I'm not sure who it was, but I was saying like weeklies kind of make sense to me only as like ways to fund the monthlies, because like weeklies you pay what you get. If you're gonna buy in bulk, you're gonna get lower quality. So I mean, if you're gonna invest in a weekly, just know that it's not gonna be as good as the monthly.
Right, exactly.
And I mean, I feel like comics know that, and like it's not cheap.
Which is why I don't know why there's weeklies.
I must explain it. Okay, so comic creators know that it's expensive to create comic books, right? So it only makes sense to invest in all these, like, just like in YouTube you have clickbait. Here it's like buy bait. So like it's like, oh hey, your new favorite character is in a weekly, you should pick this up. Give us some money so we can go fund the monthly, and put our real true creative geniuses on the monthly, and just throw a whole bunch of crappy creators on the weeklies.
Pretty
Not
much.
saying that Injustice is a bad weekly. It's great. It's amazing. But I'm just saying. In weeklies, you also have a lot of just heavy dialogue books, like issues.
Right.
Like nothing really important ever happens.
I just think that you get into a bad habit as a creative team when you do weeklies that you just have to kind of crank something out. So I don't think you do your best work when you have to, just chuck something out there. Like I know I don't, I mean, I write for a living. I don't do my best work when I've got 5 minutes to throw something together, and that happens a lot. So I'm like, well, that was utter horse. I'm just gonna, and then that's the one that goes viral and gets 4 million hits and all that other crap. So I'm just like, whatever. I don't know. But still, it's like I don't feel proud of the work that I do, where I have to rush real quick and I don't really get to put thought into it. And sometimes when you read these weeklies, you get that kind of vibe, like, oh, well, that was awesome, but this totally sucked. And so, it's just that inconsistency, man. Like Batman Eternal, I kept up with that book for like 5-6 months every week.
You brave soul.
That freaking thing, like, some weeks I was like, I can't believe I wasted the money on this. Like, this was just, I want to sue somebody. Can I sue somebody?
Can I get a refund, Comixology?
Yeah. Want my money back, press the button, come on. So yeah, that was I wasn't a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of weeklies in general, but sometimes they can do it right, and when they do, it's fun. But it's so hard on the wallet, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if they're doing weeklies, since everyone knows that they're less quality, they should cost less.
Yes.
Like it's just common knowledge that weeklies are not as quality as monthlies.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, sometimes I would wish that my monthlies were a weekly. Like, just normal. Like, I want more of the comic now. But it's a bad thing to just wish that your weekly was a monthly. It's like, I could do with less of this.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Which
a bad
is
sign.
what the quarter weekly get as a result. Like Injustice, like, I love the story, but I just wish I could have more, and I didn't have to spend so much for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just there. Like, it's right underneath the line of great comic books. Like, if it was a monthly title with some really good writing behind it, it would pass that line. But as it stands, no.
Well, I think that's going to about wrap it up for this episode, guys. Alec, I'm going to ask you to send us off. Give them the spiel.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you once again for coming into a new episode of the MetaComix Podcast. If you liked it, like the video. If you didn't like it, like the video anyway. What do you have to lose? How did you feel about our Mad Libs in the beginning? Would you buy them as a weekly? Put your thoughts in the comment section below. And also leave your comments on anything that you want to share in this video. We will reply to each and every one of them. I guarantee it. If you guys did not know, we have a Facebook and a Twitter account. Just MetaComix, just how it's written on the channel. So go ahead and check us out. Without further ado, though, thank you once again. I hope you guys enjoy and stay nerdy.
Signing out.